People ask me what books I like, and I think my favorite book from this year is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. And I got it last summer. I thought I love weddings, and I thought this would be a book about a wedding. And it is about a wedding, but it's a very different twist. So the main character comes from the Midwest, and she goes to Newport, Rhode Island, to a beautiful hotel, and she's rented the penthouse. And she arrives at the hotel. She doesn't have a suitcase. She's in a beautiful dress and beautiful shoes, and she gets to the lobby, and it's the beginning of a week-long wedding party. And everybody thinks she's part of the wedding party, and she's one of the guests, and she gets some swag, and she checks in. And then she gets on the elevator, and with her on the elevator is the bride. And the bride looks at her and she says, "I don't recognize you. Are you with which family?" And Phoebe, the main character, says, "Well, actually, no, I'm not part of your wedding party. I've come here to kill myself." So the bride gets all upset and she says, "You can't do this you'll ruin my wedding." And they go up to the penthouse and they start to have a relationship. And this poor woman, Phoebe, she's in her mid-40s. Her husband has just run off with her best friend. She's a professor, but she's not getting anywhere. And just her whole life is falling apart. And she had always dreamed of going to Newport with her husband and going sailing. But instead, her cat had even just died. So she's living at home alone, and her cat had just died. So she took the cat's painkillers, and she was going to use the cat's painkillers to put herself to sleep for good. So the two of them, the bride and Phoebe, go up and they talk. And then it's a story about how this narrator, Phoebe, who has decided she has nothing to hide, and she just starts speaking what she's thinking, and she's meeting people, and she's getting involved with the wedding party. And it's just a really lovely story about how she has this transformation, and she becomes who she really was meant to be. And she has this great effect on the people around her. And at the end, the author thanks people that she's met in airports and just diners, people who have talked to her when she was alone. And she said, "This book is a thank you to all those people who made me feel like I was somebody and that I wasn't alone." So as someone like me who also suffers with depression, it was a really validating and really funny, believe it or not, book to read. Let me know if you want any more recommendations.